A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us on this special edition of Almond Finance and Wealth Report, your source for all the latest happening in the world of business. My name is Susan Obiako. On this special edition of the program, we take a breather from our usual lineup to bring you highlights from the 50th African Insurance Organization Conference and General Assembly AIO that took place recently at the Mercure Hotel, Windhoek, Namibia. The theme of the conference this year, coping with rising natural catastrophes across Africa, was very germane as statistics put economic losses from natural disasters on the continent at $38.5 billion. As always, over 1,300 delegates from more than 75 countries across Africa, Europe, and Asia were in attendance. Declaring the conference open, the Prime Minister of Namibia, Mrs. Sarah Kongolwa Amadila, said that the potential of African insurance industry is huge and the future is ours.
The insurance institutions are important players in risk management. Insurance cover provides protection against losses and therefore encourages and promotes sustainable investment and economic growth. The growth of the insurance industry over the years is a manifestation of its services' relevance to the market needs.
Being a continental platform, the rich cultural heritage of African continent was on display. What more can I say? You are in for a wonderful time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Details shortly after the break. Please stay with us.
Nomination is now open for the 2024 Almond Insurance Industry Awards in the following categories: Insurance CEO of the Year, Insurance Woman of the Year, Insurer or Broker, Life Insurance Company of the Year, General Insurance Company of the Year, Insurance Broker of the Year, Insurance Broking Company of the Year, Takaful Company of the Year, Micro Insurance Company of the Year, Most Valuable Insurance Customer of the Year. To nominate, please visit the website www.almondinsuranceindustry.awards.com to nominate your choice. Only nominated candidates can be voted for. Nomination is free and open to the public. Nomination closes 24th of June 2024. Almond Insurance Industry Awards, rewarding excellence.
Statistics shows that natural disasters cost Africa a whopping $250 billion in 2023, while insured losses from that was put at $95 billion. These rising claims from natural disasters informed the theme of the 50th AIO conference, coping with the rising natural catastrophes across Africa to reflect the direction of insurance practitioners on the continent. The 3 days conference had over 1,300 delegates from 75 countries across Africa, Europe, and Asia were in attendance. The conference, as always, kicked off with a welcome cocktail, which affords delegates to chit-chat with friends and colleagues across Africa. Welcoming the over 1,000 delegates to the official opening ceremony of the conference, the chairman, local organizing committee, Mr. Tertius Tiers, implored delegates to explore the beauty of Namibia.
2 years ago, Namibia was selected to host this prestigious event, and we delightedly accepted and started with preparations. During our preparations, the Namibian government with the specific help from the Ministry of Finance and Home Affairs, supported us to make this conference the success it is today. The year also marks the 100th board meeting of the AIO, which Namibia is very proud to host. This event hopefully does not put only our country on the map for future conferences, but it provides an opportune platform for local corporate leaders to build networks, to share lessons, and to deal with issues of climate change, the future of insurance, and the development of sustainable businesses. We are really excited to host more than 1,000 delegates here today. According to my information, more than 75 countries. And we are very proud that we are a number of also local representation. We would also like to express our sincere gratitude to all the sponsors and partners that made this event possible. Your contributions are invaluable in ensuring the success of our conference. In addition to all of the insightful sessions and panel discussions lined up for the rest of the week, I encourage all delegates to use these opportunities and days to network, but also maybe enjoy some of the hospitality of our beautiful country.
Also joining his voice to welcome delegates to the conference was the co-chairman of the LOC, Mr. Tassius Chigariro, who gave an overview of the Namibia insurance markets.
Namibia's insurance market is characterized by significant growth potential, driven by increasing economic development, a growing middle class, a rising awareness of importance of insurance, the regulatory development aimed at market stability and resilience. The insurance penetration is relatively low compared to most developing markets, but is one of the higher rates within the African continent. The insurance sector is broadly divided into 3 segments, made up of 1 state-owned national reinsurer, 14 life insurance, and 14 non-life companies. The Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority, NAMFISA, oversees the conduct and the prudential soundness of insurance companies, ensuring they adhere to regulatory standards designed to protect policyholders and maintain market stability.
Declaring the conference open, the Prime Minister of Namibia, on behalf of the President, Dr. Sarah Konglua Amaglia, called on insurers to deploy technology in the sale of their products and reach more people that really need it.
This gathering of insurance executives here today is an optimal forum to discuss issues relating to insurance solutions in the face of increased and more serious natural catastrophes on the continent. The insurance institutions are important players in risk management. Insurance cover provides protection against losses and therefore encourages and promotes sustainable investment and economic growth. The growth of the insurance industry over the years is a manifestation of its services' relevance to the market needs. I wish to reiterate that for the insurance industry to remain responsive, it needs to continue to ensure wide coverage and to reach all those that are in need of it. Another aspect is the need for innovation and introduction of new products and the use of technology to offer insurance services to the customers. Besides insurance pooling funds to cover risks, there are also critical institutions in the mobilization of savings and the deployment of such savings for development of the market in which they operate. It is important to spread risks across the border with players locally and abroad, but it is important for local institutions to develop the necessary capacity and minimize the placement of insurance beyond our markets and allow for import of specialized insurance covers. With these remarks, it is my pleasure to declare the 50th African Insurance Organization Conference and Annual General Assembly officially open.
With the opening formalities of the way, delegates settled down for serious discussions on the theme and sub-theme of the conference. The first paper session of the conference focused on insurance and natural catastrophes across Africa, building resilience for uninsured populations. Presenter was Anthony Bavadi, Global Head of Public Sector, Parametric and Climate Resilience Solutions, Calgary. According to him, the best approach to combating natural catastrophes in Africa is through the vehicle of public-private partnerships. The next session was the UNDP's Insurance and Risk Finance Facility. In his presentation, Mr. Christian Chingiro, Deputy Resident Representative, UNDP Namibia, noted that Africa remains the least financially resilient continent.
We think that innovative financing and the solutions are linked not only to climate but to other emerging risks. Ladies and gentlemen, climate-induced shocks and other natural and human-caused disasters significantly threaten human development. At a time when risk is growing, financial management of risk remains, in many countries, a secondary priority amongst many competing needs. When crisis hits, it is the family, the community, and the state that is left to respond. Insurance is increasingly getting recognized as a critical tool in combating poverty, building resilience of communities and countries, and reducing the impact of risks that are on demand and pressuring development paths. Insurance does not only protect lives, livelihoods, and homes from the impact of disaster. It also provides coverage for loss of employment, supply chains, education, cyber threat, and much more, acting as a significant safety net across many aspects of life. Africa remains the least financially resilient continent, with insurance penetration at half the world average as a percentage of GDP. Premium payments lag global averages by 11 times, leaving the population exposed to significant risks without protection.
Other speakers were Beatrice Chetal, Head of Division, Trading Services, AFTA. The UNDP Roundtable session focused on impact management and measurement for reinsured. Panelists were Irish Goro, UNDP Namibia, Taunya Hungo, FCA, Africa Regions Hold Mutual, and Rambestier, Group Head Sustainability, Capricorn Group. The second panel focused on natural catastrophes, rethinking catastrophe modeling, and insurance protection gap. Presenter was Walter Voice von Foster, Head of Non-Life Munich Re. In his brief remarks, Foster noted that everyone has a role to play to reduce the impact of climate change.
On the climate change, I think we can all see that it is there. We don't need to argue why it is there, but we need to feel how we deal with it. On the other hand, we're also not just bystanders of climate change. We have our own impact, and we need to see how we can reduce that impact in a positive way. We've looked at the catastrophe losses, we looked at the model and how one incorporates it into underwriting. It would be foolish not to do so, and there's a brief overline of the protection gap.
Day one of the conference wrapped up with a dinner sponsored by Africa Re. The Africa Re dinner is also a time to honor some well-deserving individuals and institutions for their contributions and innovations in the insurance space. The dinner kicked off with the recognition for 10 young insurance professionals who have distinguished themselves. Day 2 of the conference kicked off with the launch of the African Insurance Pulse on Climate Resilience by Simon Loper, partner Faber Consulting. In a summary, Loper noted that the agricultural sector in Africa is more susceptible to the effects of climate change, therefore making the problems of food security huge for the continent.
Large part of the African continent faces high to very high levels of natural and man-made risk. This is based on the informed Risk Index 2024, threatening not only the people of Africa, but also food security, the ecosystems, the economies, but it also heightens the probability of displacement, migration, and even political conflict or conflicts. We have also seen that vulnerability is very high in Africa. In particular, for extreme weather events such as drought, floods, or storms. We will look at it on the next slide. So what are some of these factors that heighten the vulnerability of the African continent? These include poverty, inequality, inadequate infrastructure, limited access to healthcare, insufficient building codes, expanding informal settlements, but also the importance of the agricultural sector. As you know, agriculture contributes with 35% of GDP in average in Africa, and unfortunately that sector is highly exposed or highly vulnerable to global warming and such effects or extreme weather effects of drought and or floodings.
The first roundtable focused on regulation. Where is it going? Discussants were Dr. Grace Muradikwa, Commissioner of Insurance, Pension and Provident Funds, Zimbabwe; Mr. Salaheddin Aji, General Manager, FMA; Eric Garise, General Manager, NAMFISA. Moderator of session was Dr. Yeside Oyetayo, Managing Partner, Soeya Consults Nigeria. In a response, Dr. Muradikwa noted that protectionism is a major problem to opening up the insurance market across borders.
Africa is not a country, it's a continent. So sometimes I hear people talking about Africa as if it's a country. So I think let's be alive to the fact that we're at different stages of economic development. So the vision itself, I think, is enunciated by our fathers. It's a good vision, and we all see the benefits, of opening our markets. And I think if we are alive to that, we'll appreciate that. I think the motive is the internalizing risks. We want to minimize capital flight, not just from our countries, but from the continent, and so on. But let's also be aware of the challenges. So the challenges, I think, the one being that we're at different levels of economic development, and then the second for me is high levels of protectionism, which are very evident. I think you go into some markets, we're still trying to protect our markets, from competition and so on. But I think, having said that, I want to agree with Eric that the approach that we've been taking is, maybe to take a phased approach through our regional groupings, and just to say that for CISNA in particular, we've actually moved a lot.
The roundtable session drew questions from some delegates.
By its nature, insurance is global and international. So the question is, if you have situations where beyond the companies that are within the market, within the African market, you have external influences as well. What role, how do we ensure that in our harmonization attempt, we take into consideration the fact that there are other external forces outside the African continent that has influence on our operations?
Other roundtable sessions and sub-themes of the conference focused on using ESG practices and building resilience to climate-related natural catastrophes, how natural catastrophes compound Africans' insurance penetration dilemma, sessions on microinsurance, and a host of others. Day 3 of the conference opened with the Annual General Assembly, where the various committees of the AIO briefed members on the activities for the past 1 year. The General Assembly also affords members to make inputs into the running of the organization.
I see we have 251 insurers and then 61 brokers. I would have imagined that in the strategic plan, we have something to do with membership building, increasing, because like 61, that's just one country that has 61 brokers. But the AIO for all of Africa, we should be having, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or something like that.
I need to first of all register my disappointment upon the submission of presentations and reports to the General Assembly. The documents arrived around 7:58. Some of us received them probably early this morning. The strategic plan you have presented now, I can guarantee you it's not in our emails. Nevertheless, we are happy to receive it, but if the General Assembly is to make concrete guidance to the Secretariat, it's important that they are shared on time. And we believe that the coming leadership will be able to improve on the presentations and delivery of documentations so that members can make an impactful input so that the IO can be able to move very well.
Some of the committee that briefed the Assembly were the Energy Pool, Life Committee, IBA, Association of Educators and Trainers, and a host of others. After all the serious deliberations, it was time for the closing dinner and investiture ceremony of Petty Gerau Martin, the Managing Director, Namibia, as President of the AIO, the fifth woman to assume the exalted office in the AIO's 50 years of existence. The dinner kicked off with presentations to winners of the Book Award and entertainment. Friends, family and colleagues watched with admiration as Mrs. Martin takes the mantle of leadership of the continental body.
I, Mrs. Patty Gerau Martin, Managing Director of Namibia National Insurance Corporation Limited, do solemnly declare and swear by Almighty God that I shall carry out my duties and functions as President of the African Insurance Organization without fear or failure, and in accordance with the Constitution of the African Insurance Organization. In making this solemn declaration, I do so with a great sense of responsibility, so help me God.
In her acceptance speech, Mrs. Martin pledged to focus on promoting gender equality and youth mentorship during her tenure.
We must work to create opportunities, provide support and champion policies that promote gender equality, such as the focus on enhancing growth and collaboration within the AIWA chapters. By doing this, we can harness the full potential of our talent pool and drive innovation and growth within the industry. Lastly, engaging the youth is imperative for the future of our organization and the industry. It needs not repeating, and the young people of today are leaders of tomorrow. By investing in their development, provide mentorship, and creating pathways for them to enter and thrive in the insurance industry, we can ensure a vibrant and dynamic future for the industry. It is at my tenure that I will seek to support the youth insurance professionals as they continue to strengthen their country chapters and enhance collaboration, learning, and knowledge exchange within their networks. Now, lastly, before I close off, I will have to do this acknowledgement and thank you to a few people and a few that has been very important and has played a critical role. It doesn't mean if I don't acknowledge you today that you have not played an important role. All of you that are here tonight, you are showing that you do care and that you do value my presidency. I do appreciate each and everyone being here.
The 50th AIO Conference and General Assembly was a huge success by every standard, and Namibia was a good host by all standards. Attention and focus is now on Ethiopia, the land of origins, for the 51st AIO Conference and General Assembly in 2025. Here is hoping that as the African Insurance Organization begins the next phase of its journey of another 50 years, the vision of the founding founders will remain relevant to the needs and ever-changing landscape of insurance business across Africa.
Nomination is now open for the 2024 Almond Insurance Industry Awards in the following categories: Insurance CEO of the Year, Insurance Woman of the Year, Insurer or Broker, Life Insurance Company of the Year, General Insurance Company of the Year, Insurance Broker of the Year, Insurance Broking Company of the Year, Takaful Company of the Year, Micro Insurance Company of the Year, Most Valuable Insurance Customer of the Year. To nominate, please visit the website www.almondinsuranceindustry.awards.com to nominate your choice. Only nominated candidates can be voted for. Nomination is free and open to the public. Nomination closes 24th of June 2024. Almond Insurance Industry Awards, rewarding excellence.
All right, that's our time on the program this week. Hope you enjoyed every moment spent with us today. Do join us again next week for a fresh package of the program. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Go to our YouTube channel to watch again if you missed any part of today's episode. Nomination for the 2024 Almond Insurance Industry Awards is still ongoing. Visit the website to nominate your choice because only those nominated can be voted for in other categories. So go and nominate now. Those in Abuja and environs can also enjoy the program on ASO TV, DSTV 392 on Friday at 11 a.m. My name is Susan Obiako. Until next time, from the entire crew is a goodbye.